presentation of Sunday Night Baseball.
On this Memorial Day weekend, a look at beautiful Huntington Beach, California, 12 miles south of where we are tonight. The Big A houses an AL West Series finale. It is Sunday Night Baseball from Los Angeles. The Angels, one of just two teams in the Bigs without a sweep this season. Could they be breaking out the brooms tonight? They welcome in the Texas Rangers, who are trying to cap this road trip the right way. As we say, good evening, everybody. Great to have you with us. I'm John Fanta with a guy who spent 15 years on the rubber in the major leagues, Adam Ottavino. All right, Adam, let's talk about the American League West, because who had the Seattle Mariners in third place entering the day? What do you make of the state in this division, which does not have a team over 500?
Well, I still have a hunch that the Mariners will get there, but right now it's anybody's division. Even these teams like the Angels, they're not fully out of it yet. Only 7.5 back at the moment. I believe that's a little bit in flux with the A's game right now, but plenty of season left, plenty of time for these guys to get in. Somebody's got to make it, so somebody wants to go and grab that.
Meanwhile, here in Anaheim, the Angels have been able to find their offense courtesy of a new man in the major leagues and an Anaheim kid.
Yeah, how about this? One moment you're in Double-A, next moment you're on a flight about 3:30 in the morning to your hometown team, the Angels, to make your debut. Look at the catch going hard to the wall, and then he backs it up with a 3-run shot of Jacob deGrom right here. Incredible debut for the hometown kid.
Meckler madness. Wade Meckler, who grew up right here in Anaheim, huge Angels fan. Yes, that's him with a Mike Trout foam hat. Could you tell he was an Angels fan growing up? That is an elite bedroom setup. Then on to Saturday, Mike Trout wants to get in on the fun.
Yeah, Mike Trout told Meckler, hey, I know you've seen it on TV. I'm going to show you live in person. Huge home run there. Then you know what? That's been a big story. Mike Trout looking really good so far.
The Angels would hold the Rangers to leaving the bases loaded, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Then Oswald Peraza says good night, a 5-2 LA win. They're looking for their first sweep of Texas in 4 years. Now, let's talk about the headliner. With the Los Angeles Angels, one of the greats in baseball history, the 3-time MVP, Mike Trout. What's impressed you the most about his season to date?
I think just how he looks physically. You know, the sprint speed's back. He's playing center field again, so he's got his legs under him. And really, that's been the story the last few years. Can he stay on the field? Can he really get those swings off like Mike Trout's used to getting off? And so far, so good. He's feeling healthy. He's flying around, and he's leading this Angels offense.
Blasting his 13th home run of the season last night in the first inning, 2 left. And when you talk around the Angels clubhouse, the consensus is his leadership fantastic as always. Adam, here's the question. The American League wide open. Mike Trout still looking for that postseason breakthrough in his career. Could he be on the trading block?
Well, to his credit, every time this question has come up, he's basically said, no, I like being here, I want to stay here. But you do have to wonder if that's evolving a little bit in his mind, particularly if they continue to fall further back into the basement. With the way he's playing, I know there'll be a lot of bites. I know a lot of teams will want to bring in the Trout, and we'll see if they can wiggle him free of the Angels.
Reed Detmers goes for the Angels. Mackenzie Gore goes for the Texas Rangers. Battle of the Southpaws tonight. For Gore, he's back tonight when just inning in Colorado was dealing with back spasms. What will be a sign that he's back in rhythm?
I think it's that fastball command, particularly to his glove side, so that's inside versus righties. If he's hitting that extension spot with his left arm, that means he's feeling pretty good with that shoulder and that back, and we're going to see some good things from him tonight. 2
starts ago, the best start of his major league career. He went through the 8th inning for the first time in his career. Well, on this Memorial Day weekend, there's a new trend in baseball. And who better to keep us up with the trends of America's pastime than Bob Costas?
Baseball. A game of timeless traditions. And now, apparently, shirts are optional.
The tarps off, crew is ready.
What started in St. Louis,
that was pretty damn cool,
Look at that groove.
has become a movement.
We're having fun no matter what.
The newest twist in fan participation. So, get your popcorn ready. And if you feel like it, take your shirt off too. For this week in baseball. From the first pitch.
A home run on pitch 1 for the Dodgers starter.
Showtime. To the very last.
First 2 and 5 scoreless for Shohei Ohtani.
The game never fails to amaze.
Into the gap at the top of the wall. James Wood. Inside the park, grand slam.
You do everything possible to record an out. Or everything imaginable to avoid one.
A great trick slide by Volpe.
But sometimes your fate cannot be changed.
Acuna, you're going to be out eventually.
And the final out
There's the first hit.
remains out of reach.
It's gone! Unbelievable! What a finish!
Although for some,
Duran back. Look at this catch.
it seems nothing
He is putting on a show out there the last 2 nights.
is out of reach. While the moment that always leads to celebration
Hitting him where it hurts, right up the middle. Braves win!
for one team
Guess what? Marte walks it off.
happened twice.
And the Diamondbacks win it.
And of course,
That's going to do it in a big way.
the walk-off
3-run homer.
tarps off.
The comeback Cardinals do it again.
Well, shirts off to that.
The energy in this ballpark, incredible.
This week in baseball.
Thank you, Bob. Adam Ottavino and I can guarantee you we will keep our tarps on tonight. Coming up, the Judge was at the zoo. Aaron Judge said goodnight to the Rays. We'll capture that and more next.
Have you tried the new...
And now, fans, we ask that you please rise if able and kindly remove your caps. Ladies and gentlemen, as we enjoy our time with family and friends at the ballpark during this Memorial Day weekend, Major League Baseball and the Angels would like to take a moment to pause and remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. We ask that you please join us now in a brief moment of silence. Thank you. And now, in honor of those serving our nation at home and overseas, please join Jamie McRae in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
A special weekend in baseball as we honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. On this Memorial Day weekend, let's get to our Sunday storylines. A lot happening in the world of baseball. Several walk-offs. One of them came from Aaron Judge. Yankees beat the Rays 2-0. New York really needing that one. How about the Cleveland Guardians? Travis Bazzana leading a youth movement.
They can't stop, they won't stop this team. They call up young guys, they perform. Bazzana's the next in line. It's been awesome to watch.
Yamamoto delivers. Dodgers take the series from the Milwaukee Brewers. How about LA?
Yeah, a little bit of a playoff rematch. Yamamoto experiencing that dominance factor, and he's leading the Dodgers into the second half.
Dodgers, Braves, so many heavyweights in the NL, in the American League West. It is wide open. It's the Rangers and the Angels on this NBW. On the other side, Zach Brown Band, Jason Benetti, and the boys for your Sunday night.
Hey, baseball. About your psoriasis symptoms and
show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. Been waiting all day for the stars to come and play. Now we just gotta say it's been too long, been too long. Sunday night, the show's about to start. Grab your seat just like you're at the park. Rest assured, the best are here tonight. Greatest show and a diamond in the light. You gotta see the show. It's a dynamo. You gotta see the show. It's a rock and roll.
Sunday night baseball. Rangers, Angels.
Out of here in a big way.
For the stars to come and play. There's one thing left to say. It's Sunday night, Sunday night. Welcome to the show. Sunday night, let's go. Welcome to Sunday night. Come and see the. Come on. See the show.
And the show takes us to lovely, resplendent Southern California, the Big A, the home of the Angels. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball on NBC, presented by Capital One. If there's a climate you want to be in, it's this one. And if there's a division you want to be in, it's this one. The Athletics just moments ago closed out the San Diego Padres to inch over 500 like 12 seconds ago. So the Rangers and the Angels, everybody in this division is totally playable in the American League West. Thanks for joining us once again, Jason Benetti. As always, joined by experts from both sides. David Murphy, Mark Gubicza, who both played at the highest level in this sport in the World Series from the Rangers and Angels, respectively. And Gooby, we'll start with you. The Angels are going for their first sweep against Texas since 2022. What's going right?
Jason, they're actually scoring runs in the first inning. 4 games in a row, multiple runs scored. Before that, they hadn't scored a run in the first inning since May 5th, so they're doing it against some incredible pitching, too, with Jason Ground, Evaldi on the mound last night. So they're hitting home runs in the first inning, scoring some runs, allowing their starters to get a little more confidence, Murphy. But I tell you, it's a little different for you guys right now. You're struggling in the first inning.
Yeah, and it has been the early offense that has been getting to the Rangers. Now, the Rangers, after a tough first 40 games in their schedule, they come on this road trip. They face Houston. They lose a series there. They take 2 out of 3 in Colorado. They come to Anaheim with Jacob deGrom on the mound with Nathan Evaldi. You're thinking you're at least going to win a series, but home runs in the first inning of each of these first 2 games, they have not been able to get it done. They've lost the first 2, trying to salvage the 9th game of this road trip before they head home tomorrow. It'll be Mackenzie Gore on the mound. That looks to get the Rangers back on track.
He's on the hill. Reed Detmer's on the hill for the Angels. 2 similarly situated pitchers, right, Adam Ottavino?
That's absolutely right, Jason. Both of these guys come in with huge promise, big-time draft picks, big-time prospects, major leaguers for sure, but I think they're both a little bit in that frustration zone where they're looking for a little more consistency. They both like to work deeper into ball games, and they both like to put their own stamp on this team, on their teams respectively, a little bit more as they try to strive for the postseason this season.
Both, again, are in striking distance of an American League West lead that's held by the Athletics. But time now for our Salesforce pitcher profile. It is Reed Detmer's on the hill, the left-hander who Gooby has thrown a no-hitter in his major league career.
Yeah, and an immaculate inning in the same season. I mean, last time out for Reed Detmer's, 2 innings pitched against the Athletics, and that's a great everyday lineup. 5 punch-outs in the first 2 innings, then the dip in the velocity. I think what he has to do to be successful here tonight against the Rangers is think, how many quick outs can I get and not have to show my out pitch from the very first pitch I throw. And that way he'll be successful, get deep in the game, and be able to pick up a W in the sweep.
Two teams that have dealt with some injury recently, and the Rangers starting lineup goes like this. It's brought to you by Capital One. Andrew McCutchen leading off, David. Right-hander with a left-hander starting for the Angels.
Yep, and you got Brandon Nimmo in the 3-hole. Jake Berger's been hot at times. Ezekiel Duran's really been a glue guy, so we'll see what the Rangers can do. They're 18-3 when they score first, and that is the best mark in Major League Baseball.
That's why you tune in for minute one of these shows. This could be decided. The first two games of this series were decided in the first inning, you could say, as Andrew McCutchen, in his 2298th Major League game, fouls the first pitch away. He is the active leader in games played in Major League Baseball. Former National League MVP from now 13 seasons ago. There's the fastball from Reed Detmers. 0-2.
I mean, that's the fastball he can throw. He can get up there 95, 96. He was at 97 out of the bullpen last year. But his pitch he loves to go to with 2 strikes is his wipeout slider.
On 0-2. There's a fastball. And so the art right now, Gooby, of getting a strikeout early in a sequence is what Reed Detmers is working on.
Yeah, and sometimes he throws that high fastball well out of the strike zone. At least that's close enough to the zone to make the hitter think that, is he going back with a fastball, is he going that curveball or slider?
2-2 on McCutchen, who is 13 years the elder of Reed Detmers. You see John Libka is our plate umpire tonight. It's a lovely 73 degrees at the home of the Angels tonight. There it is. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That's part of the problem. You go to 0-2, and talking to Mike Maddox, I mean, even in spring training, I was in uniform with the Angels. The thought and the conversation is finish off the hitter in 3 pitches. So now all of a sudden you're seeing every one of his out pitches already the first batter of the game.
3-2 to McCutchen is flied to left, but there is a cost of that fly ball out. It is pitch number 6 of the day, and now here comes Justin Foscue, former first-round pick of the Rangers 6 years ago, and David, he has really buoyed this offense on this road trip.
He's been a nice surprise. He's finally getting the chance to play every day. Never really had that at the major league level. Lefty on the mound, and that's who he has had the chance to play against early in his career, but he's getting a chance to play against a little bit of everybody recently.
If people are seeing him for the first time, what's the profile? What are we watching tonight?
He's a bat to ball guy. Like, he can spray the ball all around. Like, the power hasn't quite shown up yet. He will mix in a homer here or there, but he pretty much stays on everything.
Like he did there, he'll level it for center field. Ball, a running grab by Mike Trout, rejuvenated in center this year for out number 2.
Yeah, he really, in spring training right away, he said he wants to be the everyday center fielder. He's done that a lot of his career. They moved over to the corner outfield position to alleviate some of that stress on his body, but he said he has less stress on his body in center field, David, as compared to a corner outfield position.
You know, I got to witness it in my career with Josh Hamilton. You know, every now and then they would move him to center. I think a lot of times the Rangers front office, they wanted him to play a corner, which was predominantly left field, to try to get rid of the wear and tear on his body. But I think for Trout, it just seems like a place where he's comfortable.
The numbers bear it out. We've seen him hit the ball very hard in this series and throughout the year with 13 home runs. Brandon Nimmo takes a strike. 0-2 on Nimmo, who very quickly has become one of the leaders for the Rangers after a decade with the Mets.
And Murph, you played in the stadium here in another hour or so. It's going to be really difficult as a hitter. So you want to try to score even more so early in this game.
100%.
Well, you know who thought that was strike 3? Vaughn Grissom from first base for the Angels there was sprinting in. If he had a challenge, he would have used it.
Oh, yes.
It's not the best angle, I guess.
You don't think? From first base to the plate. Neither was that. Oh, goodness gracious. There's that slider you're talking about, Gooby.
Nasty. When he doesn't overthrow it, it's a wipeout pitch.
No matter how you play.
Time now for the starting lineup for the Angels, presented by Capital One. It's an Angels team that's 7th in Major League Baseball with 63 home runs. Neto has 10 of them. Trout has 13 of them at the top.
And they rely so much, over 44% of the runs scored via the home run. And in the beginning part of the year when they were 11-10, one of the most exciting teams, it was that power throughout their lineup.
And that's what they've shown in this first inning pair on Friday and Saturday in this series. It was 6-0 combined after the first inning. So that's what Mackenzie Gore tries to dodge in terms of a landmine, with Neto standing in. Big left-hander from the state of North Carolina. Mackenzie Gore misses with ball number 1.
Yeah, he's been crushing first pitch fastballs, and a lot of them. He dropped the curveball on him right away.
And I was going to ask you that, Gooby, as a pitcher, knowing that a guy, even a leadoff man, might swing early, does that change your approach?
No, I would automatically, because if he hit a first pitch fastball all the time, I'd love that, because then I'd go start about an inch or two off the plate and allow him to get himself out and slam his bat running down the line. You know how you hitters are.
It's amazing. You put a pitcher near a hitter and the same wry smile happens within like 50 words of both of you. You know, it's interesting though on that first pitch. A good point, Murph. Talking to Skip Schumacher about Mackenzie Gore, the number one thing he said is quality 0-0 pitches, quality first pitches in a sequence. He got behind 2-0. There he drops in a curveball and comes back to 2-2.
I mean, it always seems like it's going to come back to fastball command. I mean, we live in a world where so many guys, they throw non-fastballs over half the time, but it's all going to work off of your fastball.
2-2 curveball sinks Neto. A comeback in a big way for Mackenzie Gore, who is the subject of our pitcher profile presented by Salesforce. He's a highly thought of prospect in one life, and then he becomes kind of the savior of a pitching staff in a couple of places, is the hope for the Rangers, for the Nationals, after being drafted by the Padres.
If you tracked him throughout his minor league career and the numbers, like he was constantly a top prospect. He dealt with some injuries. It took him a while to get to the big leagues. But then now that you watch him at this level, you know that this stuff is for real.
So we've seen the curveball. Where should our eyes go? You've watched him all season. What is most for real when he's going well?
Yeah, I think the curveball is it. I think more than anything, as Schumacher said, like, we want to see those early outs. I feel like you talking about Detmers, Gooby, these two guys are similar in terms of the results that they get. I mean, in terms of efficiency, I think you would rather see a pitcher get more outs in the first 3 pitches rather than throw 5 or 6. So that has plagued Gore from time to time. The 4-seamer is going to be the foundation.
Mike Trout lofts this to left. And there's out number 2. He got inside on Trout, 2 away.
It's interesting, though. You'll see Mike Trout gets a lot more fastballs than most hitters do in this day. You mentioned a day and age of non-fastballs. And if you throw enough, trust me on this one, you throw enough sliders or curveballs, that's going to stay over the plate, and that's the baseball that goes the furthest. When you see that, you've hit a number of them in your career. So with Trout, they still feel he can't quite catch up to that high fastball, so he gets a lot of them. And when you're missing that fastball down, it's going a long way.
No, it's interesting. To your point, the Rangers have thrown Mike Trout more than 53% fastball in this series, in a league that generally, for the last 5-6 years, certainly has been less fastball than other stuff.
When you think about how many home runs he's hit in his career against the Rangers, you would think, well, maybe we should try something different. But he's so good. He usually gets to a 3-2 count almost every at bat, and then he's trying to throw something slow, something to break, and he's always, if it's lower part of the strike zone, he's going to hit it hard somewhere.
After the Trout flyout, here is Vaughn Grissom playing first base today with the injury, a calf injury to Nolan Shawnuel. It felt like, talking to Kurt Suzuki, the IL wasn't in the picture, that he was going to try to heal today and maybe even be back as soon as Tuesday in that Tigers series.
And part of it is, too, he's been dealing with an ankle injury since spring training and the start of the season. That's kind of carried into that calf for him. You can see when he was turning on this. That back foot, as you know, as a hitter, Murph, if you don't have that quite behind you, that's why you're seeing not as many baseballs hit as far for Shonwell this year.
Yeah, you hit from the ground up, right? But regardless of what it was, he had a double down the line last night. He was rounding first, and something was obviously not right. And I didn't know about the ankle injury, but I think just the perfect example that if you're favoring something, you can injure something else if you're not running the right way.
We're going to have a conversation between Jansen and Mackenzie Gore. Plate umpire John Lipka goes out there. There's official word that this is an official mound meeting, which means we get an official commercial.
With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary trips. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
More than ever, umpires have become very much like soccer officials. They go to that note card in their shirt pocket like they're writing down a yellow card to the middle backer from Uruguay.
I'll tell you what, they got a lot on their plate now for the pitch, the pitch clock and everything. It's tougher. Besides, now that borderline pitch on the corner may get challenged also. So it's not an easy thing being a home plate umpire, especially.
They added a couple years ago the checks for sticky substances on the way off the mound or on the way out of the bullpen. Fouled away by Grissom. He's going to see an 8th pitch from Mackenzie Gore. So even if this is a 1-2-3 inning, we're touching up toward 20 pitches.
This is one of the issues with both of these guys. Ideally you want to get strikeouts on 0-2-1-2, but they tend to drag it out a little bit.
So Otto, what's the answer for Mackenzie Gore? Like, where is that quick at bat?
Yeah, it's all about figuring out how you want to control your contact. You have fly ball pitchers, you have ground ball pitchers, but the bottom line is you want to throw something over the plate early in the count that you're okay with them putting in play. That way, if you get to 2 strikes, you can go into your swing and miss mode. But if not, and they go ahead and put it in play ahead of time, you're okay. You can live with the results.
5 foul balls this at bat, and that leads to a ball inside on a cutter. It's 3-2.
By the way, Otto, how close was that foul ball to you down there where you're sitting?
I didn't even see it go by, but then I saw the guys in the dugout kind of give me a look like that was pretty close. So I felt it more than I saw it.
Right back to the hill, and Gore. And Mackenzie Gore handles a 1-2-3 inning. That's a ground ball that actually gets to the guy instead of just scaring the dugout. Berger leads off the 2nd inning. The slugger formerly of the White Sox and the Marlins will face Reed Detmers. Then it's Duran and Jansen. And there's ball number 1 to Berger, who about a quarter of the baseballs he puts in play go to left field in the air. He is following the sort of trail mix, right, that you put down as you look for the way out. He did to left center. It's gone. Jake Berger goes yard to crack the scoring here on Sunday night. It's 1-0. That's what he does.
Well, after being bitten by the home run ball earlier in the ball game, each of the first 2 games of this series, the Rangers finally have an answer in Game 3. Berger's had moments where he's carried the offense. When he gets hot, Skip Schumacher told us before the game, he's been really good. He just needs to find a way to have that middle ground between the hot and the cold stretches.
Well, you've seen so many changeups over the last few days. He got a changeup from Detmers to hit it out.
1-0 changeup after a first pitch fastball, and he was all over it.
That's how strong he is, though, Murph. I mean, he's got a powerful swing. He hits the ball as hard as anybody I've seen in baseball the last few years.
And that was a changeup, but he can hit a fastball too.
And the one thing for Reed Detmers, though, you don't abandon using that changeup because you got hit on a changeup. You just didn't get your spot on that. It's a good pitch for him. There was now a 2-seam changeup. He's started off the season with a 4-seam changeup, not a 2-seamer to be able to keep down, but that stayed up in his zone.
Jake Burger's 10th home run. The way Skip Schumacher put it to us was he can carry an offense for a week, 2 weeks. He stopped himself mid-sentence, said not just a week, 2 weeks you can carry an offense with Jake Burger. And as you said, David, that's what the Rangers have done when they're up first, in part because of a bullpen that has the best reliever ERA in Major League Baseball.
Gooby, talk to me about that 4-seam changeup versus the 2-seam.
Yeah, the 2-seam changeup by design for Detmers is supposed to drop in the strike zone. The 4-seamer just was taking off the velo of the pitch, but stayed more straight and true like his 4-seam fastball. Just looking for separation of the speeds.
There's that slider for strike 3. Second time he's used the slider for a punch out and one away.
I mean, he can get some great snap on that slider. You know, he was pretty efficient in that at bat. You know, the one pitch, the 0-2 pitch, he did throw well out of the strike zone. So you're still training the hitter's eyes to look at a certain spot. When you throw it that high, then all of a sudden they're not sure, you know, where you're going to throw that next pitch.
And to your point, just execution.
Yep.
Like that's exactly where you want to throw as a lefty. Throw a 2-strike slider to a righty. Even going back to the conversation we were having last inning about Trout. Yeah, he's beating up the Rangers from time to time, but there's holes in his swing. As good of a hitter as he is, you can beat him at the top of the strike zone. You can beat him in at times, but it's a matter of execution. A lot of times you try to throw that top rail fastball. If you don't get it there, the good hitters are going to make you pay.
2 strikes to Jansen, who checks his swing, and he does not go 1-2. But part of what you guys are talking about is also count leverage, right? You're up 0-2. That might have been a swing.
Hey, I'm a pitcher. I think if your intent is to think about swinging, it's a strike.
How do you plan to adjudicate that? 1-2. That's right there. Strike 3 on a fastball from Detmers to Jansen. 2 gone.
Caught him guessing there, guys. Catchers, they have a hard time not guessing. You know, they're calling pitches all day long, so they're up there looking for certain pitches in certain counts because they can't help it. They can't turn that part of their brain off.
Yeah, you can look for the fastball and adjust to something else, but if in the back of your mind, if that slider, if that changeup, man, if that gets to the front of your mind, you're going to get beat by a good heater.
I feel like Adam was talking to a specific teammate of his from back in the day right there. I think you were talking about one person. Who were you talking about?
Yeah. What's funny was, as I'm not, I think that's a very general statement about catchers, but one of the first people I actually noticed it with was Yadier Molina, believe it or not.
Really?
He was incredible, though, at guessing. That's the thing. He could read your mind. So having faced him, having pitched to him, with him behind the plate, you know, I kind of got a little bit of insight of how that brain works, and then you're out there trying to reverse engineer it when you're facing him.
Interesting. I felt like that was something that you might have texted one or two of your catchers over the course of time. Fly ball right field. Joe Adell fading back. He does not need to go into the crowd for this one. But this ball did leave the premises. Jake Burger a home run and a 1-0 Texas lead. Runs this season. Here's a live look at FanDuel's home run odds for today's game. Jorge Soler at +500, Joe Adell +440, Zach Neto +700, possibly because he's already had one at bat go. But Jorge Soler will lead it off against Mackenzie Gore from lovely Whiteville, North Carolina, which is not far from the South Carolina border. A high school draft pick. And his 1-0 is hit hard directly at right field, and Brandon Nimmo for out number 1. So a quick out in the second inning for Gore. You know, it was interesting. You guys were talking about getting strike 3 from Mackenzie Gore and working through quick at bats. We were talking to Kurt Suzuki on the Angels side about some of the guys who he saw who were most aggressive as pitchers in his time, and he brought up a couple of Nationals Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg is just that bulldog type that we're just going to go after you, 0-2.
Yeah.
And both of these pitchers, it feels like, could use a little bit more of that effectiveness ahead in the count.
Yeah, I mean, you end up wasting so many pitches just to try to get that same result. Instead of getting it done in 3 or 4 pitches, you get that punch out in the 8th or 9th pitch. And now all of a sudden you've lost 5 pitches to win a game at the major league level. You're thinking, I got to go at least in this 6th or 7th inning. It's tough to win when you're only going 5 with all those extra pitches.
But speaking personally, I never faced Strasburg, but I faced Scherzer a number of times. And he really doesn't want to let you breathe in the batter's box, right? And he wears his emotions on his sleeve out there on the mound. His intensity is unmatched.
Like the intensity of that look, by the way, from out in the. How did we get a camera out in the rocks?
Yes.
There, it looked like we had a scuba diving camera person here at the Big A.
Yes.
You bet. You've been out there, Google.
Oh, quite a few times. Yes, walking up and down those rock piles. Used to do a pre and post game shows up in there a number of years ago.
From in the rock pile?
Well, a couple times walking up and down with not even references. We're walking up and down the rock pile just to keep you guessing.
1 and 2.
As they would call it, the California Spectacular. It's referenced quite a bit.
That's what they called it, the California Spectacular.
Yes.
Thought that was your nickname, honestly. 2 and 2 from Gore to Adele. And it's a chopper left side of the infield. Held in the shortstop as out number 2. Peraza will bat with the bases clear, and we invite you to score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Scan that QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. It's the wrong game, kids. The Sunday leadoff game on Peacock was your game. You're in the wrong country. Pirates and Blue Jays earlier. There's the Rays kids. They got walked off by Aaron Judge. No, it was a beautiful scene before the game. A huge parade of youngsters, little league players.
Yeah, it's always my favorite on Sundays when they have that. I mean, the smiles on their face. I couldn't even imagine being a kid, be able to walk on a major league field at that age. And they have so much fun. They're asking, where's Mike Trout at? Where's Zach Neto? Hey, by the way, is there any bubble gum down there you could give us? All those fun things for kids going by there. And it's a blast seeing them.
I love that Gooby's first thought, Murph, was, let me see if I can bum some bubble gum off.
I love it. But not even just the little ones. I was telling Gooby, even as a big kid, when I was 21, I was playing a college series out here. It was right after the Angels won the World Series in 2002. So I was walking in the concourse, and I got to see the World Series trophy up close for the first time. I mean, what a treat.
I mean, there's aspiration in it, right? Like all those kids that we're seeing in the stands, they all want to be this.
Yes.
They all want to be right there on the mound, right there in the batter's box.
Well, look at Meckler. He was one of those kids. Next thing you know, he's playing alongside Mike Trout here in Anaheim. And he hits a home run his first game as an Angel.
It's popped up, foul, first base side, back of the plate. Yeah, you're talking about Wade Meckler out of Esperanza High School, who, I mean, you're talking about a storybook. He makes a diving catch. Great, fine, perfect, growing up an Angels fan. But then, the bottom of the inning, he hits a homer, too. Here's the catch first.
I was shocked at this one. I'm thinking, uh-oh, I hope he's okay. I didn't think he was going to be. But then he hits Jacob deGrom. That's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. That's a pretty good first inning as a hit.
That's a great phrase. He could have come out of the game in the second, and he still would have been the player of the game.
Yes. He piled it all up in the first, and the Angels got a win on Friday as that 2-2 is latched to right field. Brandon Nimmo in the sunlight makes the catch, and that's 6 up, 6 down for Mackenzie Gore. All the AL West is missing is Harry and Lloyd. You're saying there's a chance. The Athletics are 1 over. They're in first place. The Rangers are 2 back. Everybody's within 8 games. So we asked one of the worst records to ever win a division. The 2005 lovable Padres ended up winning the West at 2 over. How about the worst records through 51 games to win a division? The 74 Pirates closed very strong. So you are saying there's a chance. This is a real thing. Somebody's going to win this division. And AJ Hinch a couple weeks ago of the Tigers referred to the AL Central as the NFC South.
Oh.
But there's a bit of that here in the AL West, which makes for a fun summer, and it makes for an interesting deadline for everybody in the division.
I mean, Kurt Suzuki said it best. We were talking today with his 2019 World Series team. I mean, they were struggling, and they were not a good team at all. Next thing you know, they're in the World Series and win it. It's obviously you love to win those games in April and May, but if you can just put it together, not panic, then you have a chance. If there's injuries, get guys back in there. But on the Angels side, there really hasn't been many missed games. That's what I think is shocking about the way they've played over the last month or so.
For the Rangers, they would love to have Wyatt Langford back. That is a huge piece.
Wyatt Langford and Corey Seager, right? So you're talking about 2 guys right in the middle of the lineup on a lineup that has been struggling to score runs. So you get those 2 guys back. You get Berger swinging the bat like he did earlier today.
Ground ball to third, right at the line. It's Peraza to ship it on to first for out number 1. So Skip Schumacher told us earlier today that while we were talking to him, Wyatt Langford was swinging in the cage, and they're going to try and ramp up his progression beginning of this coming week. But those are some big names, and the way Langford was hitting earlier in his career, and obviously Corey Seager and what he's done too.
I mean, Seager, his resume speaks for itself. Langford is a budding young player, and he can do a lot of different things. He's got power. He can hit for average. He can really run. When he came into the league, there were questions about his defense and his arm, which, I mean, he's gotten extremely better. He's played really well on the defensive side the last few years. So yes, he is a game-changing type of guy. The Rangers really need him back. And Gooby, I'd ask you too. I don't know what it's like on the pitching side. Just back to the division, I feel like you stay in striking distance around 500 in a division where nobody's really separating themselves.
Into center field, there is Trout for out number 2.
And when you look at it within a division, really a number of the clubs have all been really solid as far as starting pitching. Outside of the Athletics, they'd have an incredible everyday lineup. They just score a lot of runs. They pitch pretty well too, but the rest of the teams have had really good starting pitching. Now the Angels have struggled with their bullpen at times. So you just feel that anybody can get on a roll, and then all of a sudden the noise will be made, and then all of a sudden maybe a deal or 2 could be made to get yourself better.
Yeah, and you look at Seattle, Kirby, Wu, Gilbert. I mean, they have the pitching. Cal Raleigh has not had the type of season, not even close to the season that he had last year. So they need him to get healthy and to produce. But yeah, it is up for grabs.
Just about every way as McCutchen fouls that away. It's 2 strikes on Andrew McCutchen. The Mariners they lost today 8-6 to Kansas City. Looks like a fun group. Be fun to hang out with. Yes. They're going with that 6-man rotation, and we'll see how long they can do that for. They're piggybacking a starter along with Luis Castillo as the 0-2 misses. A ball and 2 strikes on McCutchen. 1-0 Texas. If you just joined us, Jake Berger, a solo home run to lead off the top of the 2nd inning for the Rangers. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and so Detmers uses the fastball for strikeout number 4. Mobile, America's best network, connects you to America's pastime. Angel Stadium, home of the Angels for 60 years now. Lovely venue. It's lovely until the shadows start to creep in and the hitters have to deal with it.
I was joking around with the guys that said, hey, I'm willing to come out of retirement now around 5:30 because it's tough to see the baseball right now as a hitter.
So, David, what are these guys seeing?
From Mackenzie Gore, or just seeing with the shadows? I think the most difficult way when the shadows cross the field is when the sunlight is in center field and you have the shadows at home plate. So basically they're seeing a dot, but they're not seeing spin on the baseball. So they have to trust their instincts to try to pick up anything that is not a fastball.
It's popped up back of home. Danny Jansen has room. So I guess how do you do that? Like practically, how do you do that as a hitter, what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, you could dig into this in a lot of different ways. For me, the hardest pitch for me was a changeup. Like, I did not pick it up well. I think at times, even in situations with shadows, I could pick up a breaking ball. I don't know if it's you talk about a hitter picking up a fat wrist versus a thin wrist from a pitcher at times, and that's why I say it's purely instinctual. But I think you just go pitch to pitch and you get up there and you battle. That is, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It is just do what you can.
But like that swing on that curveball, it's a very good curveball, but there's also the added problem of the shadows.
Exactly. You don't see hitters chase that unless it's a 2-strike count.
Yeah. As pitchers, we're taught to use the shadows in the way that you lean into breaking balls, to your point. I don't think you can quite see the spin the way you want to. You just sort of see a black dot that your eyes are having a hard time adjusting to, and then hopefully that ball deviates off his path. If you're the pitcher, that's what you're counting on. So usually it's breaking balls, but I've gotten in trouble trusting that, overly trusting that in a shadow situation before.
Gooby's nodding up here in the booth.
I'll tell you what, I've talked to many hitters over the years here that could play, whether it's a day game or even this time of day. The changeup is the hardest pitch to pick up and hits, and especially if it's a left-handed pitcher, it's a difficult one to be able to see out of the hand here. And I've heard that so often in day games, and now here with the shadows dealing with it too, a changeup.
Why do you think the changeup from left-handers?
Part of it is the background, and they just have a tougher time, and they say it's the glare. For some reason, the glare. I said, well, one thing about out here, it's sunny every day. It's not like it's back in the Midwest or East Coast where you're dealing with some weather often. But it's the glare of the sun, and it's coming in, and it's not easy to be able to read if it's going to be a fastball or a changeup.
And I was a guy that later in my career, I never did it early, but I would hit with sunglasses. But in a situation like this, you can't really use the sunglasses. You're just trying to figure out any way to see the baseball.
On 1-2, check swing. It was close. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So you and Otto have something in common. Adam does the pregame with sunglasses. You hit with sunglasses.
I feel like it helped early. Like I would do it at times in spring training, and I was like, you know what? I've got to just go all in on this or not do it. So I think one spring training, I wore the sunglasses every single day, and I did it the rest of my career.
Wow.
I just happen to wear my sunglasses at night. You know why?
Great. 3-2, and he missed. Ball 4. The first base runner for the Angels in the game is a walk that comes after a ball and 2 strikes. And Adam Ottavino, it harkens back to what you were talking about off the top of the show inside the pitch with both of these guys.
Yeah, lack of efficiency, used way too many pitches to get to that. And I felt like he had him right where he wanted to. Got the crazy chase for the 2nd strike, but wasn't able to seal the deal there.
And what was it, the pitch before the walk? Non-competitive breaking ball that landed way before home plate.
Yeah, and those non-competitive pitches, they sort of reset the hitter, right? You get a non-competitive pitch, you can kind of eliminate that one, take a deep breath, get ready to see the next pitch. If it's more competitive, then you have to take it seriously, and that plays into the next pitch as well, and the next pitch beyond that.
1-0 to Frazier, who you saw the sign moments ago that our camera crew caught. Fans loving on Adam Frazier, who's ahead 2-0, and now Mackenzie Gore kind of has to figure it out on the fly.
And then he got the top of the order, a guy coming up behind him, and Zach Neto, he go over his last 10 games, has crushed the Rangers.
All right, so Frazier is a ground ball hitter. He's 52% ground ball. Otto, I know you're a right-hander, but how are you going fishing for a ground ball here?
Well, he started mixing in a sinker actually in his arsenal this year. It's been a pretty quality pitch to him. So if he can run a sinker middle in, I think he can get himself his ground ball.
Throws it 1 out of every 5 or so against left-handers, and there's a slider away on 2-1. Otto.
Yeah, I don't love that. Hadn't thrown a ton of cutters, sliders yet. I feel like he has much more of a feel for the 4-seam and curveball, and that's a must-throw strike count to the 9-hole here with Neto on deck. So now he falls behind 3-0 when he did not want to do that.
Fastball likely here, and it's inside. It's ball 4, and it's 2 on with 1 out for the Angels, and here comes Neto.
And this is the time where Zach Neto senses a pitcher going to try to find the strike zone with a quick fastball, and that's the one he jumps on very, very effectively. I mentioned those numbers. 10 extra base hits too, or 12 extra base hits over the last 10 games coming in today against the Rangers pitching staff.
He is 44% first pitch swing.
Yes.
This year. It's a mammoth number.
Let's not forget, he started him with the first pitch of the game breaking ball,
which he missed with, and then eventually struck him out. This one is near his chin.
Yeah, that's a little more difficult to hit there. And he's already in the top, I think 7 or 8 all time as far as hit by a pitch in Angels history already, because he is right on top of the plate, daring you to try to get him out inside. You see how close he is there.
He did not see that curveball.
Oh, that's a shadow pitch for sure. And I think it's kind of ironic. We're talking about the shadows, and then you get the 8 and 9 hole guys up, and both of them walk. You know, at the time when you really want to pound the strike zone, you give yourself some margin for error. You lose the strike zone.
Especially your 0-2 against Rivera, who's really struggled to hit the baseball this year, and you fall behind like that and end up walking him.
1-1. That missed. We get a challenge from Danny Jansen. It's an ABS challenge.
Call the ball. Catcher's challenge.
Powered by T-Mobile. It's either 2-1 or 1-2. Big challenge. 2 on, 1
Texas
out.
has 2 remaining.
That is a strike.
Just the other day, he was at 1-0 count. He challenged the pitch against the Athletics. In the midst of at that point, it was a no-hitter going before Frazier got it. He got it to a 2-0 count. Next pitch, walk-off home run. So this changes the bat from 2-1 to 1-2.
That's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Gore responds well to the 2 walks, and now 2 down for Trout.
Got him to expand twice on breaking balls out of the strike zone. It's hard to read the spin there. Yeah. He showed enough fastballs up, then you start that same plane with the curveball, start that plane, then drop it below the zone and a swing and miss.
And what a big challenge. I mean, it's just been a game-changing rule this year. We've seen it so many times that it can change the complexion of an at-bat.
Especially for a guy in Gore, who at one point in this inning went 8 out of 9 pitches for balls. Now, Mike Trout, the batter. 2 on, 2 out, 1-0 Texas in the 3rd, and there is ball 1. Lengthy outing already for Mackenzie Gore here into the 3rd. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, no hits allowed. There are the shadows that are certainly his friend. On 1-0. Trout jars it foul to the right side, 1-1. So Gooby, you've watched Mike Trout's entire career. Where's his mind against a lefty with 2 on and 2 out like this?
You know, he's been really good of late. He's thinking, you know, we talk about that little step back he has. He's thinking middle of the field. He's allowing the baseball, because he's getting a lot of fastballs, but allowing the baseball get a little deeper in the strike zone. He's thinking right center field. It'll adjust if it's a curveball to pull it to left, but he's thinking right center field here.
Broken bat flare, right side and through. It's a base hit. Rivero scrambles home, and we are tied. Firewood and an RBI for Trout.
Well, I don't think he was thinking quite that part of right center field, but he'll take it. Got in on him. You know, that's what happens when you walk guys like that. Inevitably, it just plays in your mind as a pitcher, because you're always taught from the lowest level, from high school baseball, walks will always come back to haunt. That's what they used to say at the old Metrodome. I'm going to date myself there. They used to have these little ghosts go around. Walks will haunt, and inevitably it does right there for a run.
And good approach too, because we always said, you know, good hitters get jammed, and you know, a guy in Trout, he knows he's strong enough, even if he breaks a bat, that he can shoot one out there, but he's just trying to drive in a run.
Yeah, what's a couple levels below a Millville Meteor, right? That was just under 70 miles an hour.
That was a nature boy, Ric Flair. How about that one?
Give him the woo. I didn't know if you'd go for it. You went for it. 1-0. That's a one-hopper, and nicely blocked by Jansen, because Frazier was pretty well down the line at third. He was going to score if that trickled away.
Yeah, he was reading that well. I mean, Jansen's really solid back there. That's a perfect technique, keeping the glove down, but keeping the shoulders square also, just in case it doesn't hit the glove there.
Frazier the lead run over at third. Jansen kept him there. 2-0, and a swing and a miss on a fastball elevated 2-1.
And I don't know, it's the same thing. When you have a catcher that can keep a breaking ball in front of you just like that, it gives you the confidence. If you get to a 2-strike count, that you can throw that breaking ball in the dirt and he'll keep it in front.
Two-1. Broken bat grounder, third base. Duran charging and throwing, and he's got the final out of the third inning. Mike Trout ties the game at 1.
The beach. To Corona, she isn't just a place. She is an element. And with salt and spray, she shoves us relentlessly into the present. That's what's inside every bottle of Corona. So no matter where your journey takes you, with just a squeeze of lime, the beach is always closer than you think. Corona, La Playa awaits.
Spectacular night for baseball here in Anaheim, as the Rangers and the Angels are tied at 1 in the top of the 4th inning, as Reed Detmers has retired 6 in a row. As you look at the panorama of this ballpark, and you look at the thousands of people watching a baseball game, you stop and think a good chunk of those people know Skip Schumacher, based on what he said to us before the game. He's got a huge family contingent here today. His son Brody is here as well, who's committed to TCU to go play baseball. And Skip Schumacher, from not far from here, about half an hour away, he went to Aliso Niguel High School and lives, what, 20 minutes from the ballpark in the offseason. John Fanta is here, and you see John on the basketball coverage does a marvelous job, and the Derby as well. By the way, great job with the Derby, Fanta. Fashion guy was awesome.
Thank you, Jason. You know where you will not see me, though?
Where's that?
Baywatch. But Wayne Schumacher, Skip's dad, see, he dealt with some of the boats used on that show. Wayne worked for the LA County Department of Beaches and Harbors for over 30 years. So how many skippers, different type of skipper, is Skip Schumacher, who not only spends his time in the dugout, but he is from, as you said, right here in Orange County. So he and Brody, his son, who's off to TCU in the fall, are often catching the waves, not only in California, but they'll get over to Waco to catch some waves. Skip Schumacher, an avid surfer.
You could see his eyes light up when he was talking about surfing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Fanta, what's it take to get you out in the Pacific on a bodyboard?
Free Willy.
2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3 on a curveball, John. I don't know that there's a better sense of humor than John.
Oh, no, that is perfect.
Strikeout number 5 for Reed Detmers. You know, we haven't seen him use that curveball to get a strikeout. It's been the fastball and the slider.
He usually throws that first pitch to get ahead of the count or to get back in the count. It's not necessarily a wipeout pitch for him. He's got now 8 strikeouts with his curveball this entire season. But it's a good one. I mean, when he first was drafted, he was four-seam curveball, and that slider kept developing. And his slider is his go-to pitch.
There's a curveball for a strike, as you described. He steals a strike there for Brandon Nimmo, who became close friends with some Astros fans earlier on the road trip. That's a called strike. It's 1-2. And so Brandon Nimmo goes back, fades back to try to make a catch in Houston and reaches up to try to steal a home run from Yordan Alvarez. He does so, but he's so happy that the fans in right field didn't mess with him, and you'll see it right here. See, he's got a read on it. He makes the play, and watch the fans. They stay out of the way as Nimmo fouls this pitch off. And so Nimmo realized that, and he decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a memory for them. He signed a couple baseballs for him. Thanks for letting me go after it.
Yeah, that's the quality of guy that he is. Not only has he been a huge boost to the Rangers offensively, but you talk about his leadership. You talk about just what a human being he is. Like, he's the real deal.
Ground ball to first. That is Vaughn Grissom handling out number 2.
I'm sure playing in New York and playing a lot of games in Philadelphia, I'm sure they were very good about that too. Just letting them go make that play.
You're from them. You're from Jersey. You can say that about the Northeast.
Yeah. No, I mean, I went to a number of games in Philly. Although I was at the 700 level, I'm pretty sure I didn't get a chance to reach out for a baseball, but I would have. I could boo really good there at the stadium, but yeah, Philly fans aren't real kind when you're going near the stands.
Not at all.
How young were you when you learned to boo?
Let's see. I might have been probably 2-3 days old.
First pitch to Jake Berger is swatted to right field. That's a long way to go, and that will be foul for strike 1. I might take the under on that. Actually. You're such a pleasant guy, but you know.
I've booed a few times. Probably there was times I go, hey, why are we booing? They go, I don't know. Everyone else is doing it. Oh yeah, boo! You're the worst.
Unreal. Two guys that have been at the highest level, as we said off the top of the show. Mark Gubicza, World Series winner in '85. David Murphy, back-to-back years with the Rangers to the World Series. 2 strikes on Berger. Otto, how you getting him out here? He homered on you if you're Reed Detmers in the 2nd inning. How you get him out at 0-2?
I think he's going to elevate the fastball here, or if he's going to go breakable, he's got to go to the dirt. But I would try fastball up first. If he's on changeup timing, then speed him up.
See where he goes. 2 strikes. Detmers to Berger. And he did go to that high fastball. So then what's next inside the pitch guy?
Yeah, I mean, you could continue to go higher. I think that would be a good play here. Throw it a little bit higher, a little bit closer to him.
I'm gonna start singing. Higher, higher.
2 strikes. Yeah, so he went away from it. He went curveball. You suggested that as a possible option. Where do you think Jake Berger's bat is in terms of speed right now, Adam?
I think he's in the middle speed. So, you know, slider, changeup. I think that's where his bat speed is right now. He's got enough to foul you off on the fastball if you don't get it right where you want at the tippy top. But I think he really wants to hit a medium speed pitch.
1-2. See what he gets. It's a fastball. It's strike 3. Dead on. 6 strikeouts for Detmers. Locked him up with a fastball through the shadows. To the bottom of the 4th next. You're watching Sunday Night Baseball on NBC, presented by Capital One. With our entire marvelous crew tonight here in Orange County. It's the Angels and the Rangers, and a first pitch skied foul first base side by Jorge Soler. And 1 strike. Each team has 1 hit so far. Mackenzie Gore and Reed Detmers have allowed 1 run each, and they deserve as many high fives as that guy's getting.
Yes, indeed. I mean, when you look at Soler, for me, the way he's been hitting late, he's looking everything middle in. And that's where his power is. If you fade something away against him, he's had a tough time on the outside part of the plate.
Which is kind of funny, too, because we were talking about that off camera before his first at bat, and then he lines out to right. And that's a foul ball to the right side. But throughout the course of the series, and obviously you've seen him all season, he looks like he's just trying to get the head out and pull as much as he can.
As he does there on the ground, 1 and 2.
I mean, a lot of his home runs, I mean, when you look at it, launch angles, he's been anywhere between 18 and 21-degree launch angles. He's not, you know, he's not the guy that's going to hit majestic high homers. These have been all line shots. He's got 9 of them on the season, but each one of them been just line shots.
And there goes Soler, 1 away. Down to the final 2 teams in the Western Conference. Wemby and the Spurs, SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The MVP of the NBA against the Defensive Player of the Year. Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Tuesday night on NBC and Peacock.
That's been a real good series so far, but that New York with that comeback in Game 1 against the Cavaliers has just been a crusher for Cleveland.
The picture was floating around on social media of Jalen Brunson as like a 2-year-old wandering Madison Square Garden and then just taking over the city.
Yeah.
High fly ball, right field from Adele to the warning track, and that's it. 2 down. Didn't miss it by much.
Well, we showed you Nimmo's home run robbery in Houston. He actually robbed Adele of a homer in the first game of this series. Went up and over that yellow line in right field. It was almost, I guess it was a little bit lower of a line drive than that swing, but pretty similar.
And Joe Adele was saying, you know, I did that 4 times already this year. Why'd you do it to me?
The karma people are coming after him. 2 down for Peraza. And there's strike 1 from Mackenzie Gore, who, as the story goes, wears jersey number 1 because he was the littlest guy on his team growing up. He wore it as a freshman in high school. They won states, and so he stuck with it. But there are 2 pitchers wearing number 1 in Major League Baseball: Mackenzie Gore and Yuki Matsui of the San Diego Padres.
I'd like to take a little credit for the single-digit pitcher.
I was about to say it's kind of like a pitcher wearing number 0.
I mean, when did you decide to do that?
So when I was a kid, my dad thought it would be funny to have like the 0 as an O for Ottavino, you know, back when you get to pick your own jersey numbers. So we started with that, and it just kind of stuck. I wore it through high school, and then I kept asking for it, and every team would say, no, 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 that's ridiculous. And then finally Colorado gave it to me.
Why'd they say no?
I just simply think because it's never been done before. I think it was that simple.
Break the mold, Ottavino. Way to go. Perfect number to have on a jersey for this game. We're tied at 1. Gore and Detmers to the 5th. Sunday Night Baseball on Peacock is brought to you by T-Mobile. America's best network connects you to America's pastime. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Look at the luminaries who played for both teams in this series. It's a young, high-socked David Murphy sprinting to make a catch in the outfield. How often do you see a baseball card of yourself nowadays?
I guess I still get some fan mail that, you know, comes to Globe Life Field.
Yep.
So I'll sign some here and there, but it's always fun to look back. I mean, I was a card collector as a kid. I'm just happy I have one in an Angels jersey because that was such a quick point in my career. It was only the last 2 months of my career. You know, I've got multiple Rangers ones, spent my early days with the Red Sox and a little bit with Cleveland too.
I got to talk about you back in the day, back in 15. Man.
Crazy, huh?
Yes.
1-1 fouled away. You may have the best story of a signing or a trade ending up in the public eye. So you're the only person I know of whose signing or trade got leaked through a daycare.
A daycare, for sure. So I got a text message a day or 2 after I agreed to the deal with Cleveland, and it was Evan Grant, local beat writer in DFW for the Rangers. He said, "Are you going to Cleveland?" And I said, "All right." I said, "News travels fast." So I come to find out that basically my daughter was going to a Mother's Day Out program. She just went a few days a week, and it was right around Thanksgiving, and she happened to be learning about Cowboys and Indians.
Right, and Cleveland at that point didn't have the Guardians name.
Yeah, excuse me, Pilgrims and Indians.
Right.
And so I guess the teacher was saying something about Pilgrims and Indians, and we had told the kids. And she said, my daddy's going to be an Indian. And so news spread throughout the preschool, the Mother's Day Out program, whatever you want to call it. And sure enough, somebody tweeted Ken Rosenthal. And so he and I have had some good laughs about that. And that's how the news started to spread. But that's kind of her claim to fame. Each of my kids had like their moments either on camera during my career or in the news, and that was hers.
That's amazing. That is tipped into the glove. Nice catch by Rivero for out number 2. That's the 7th strikeout for Detmers. How old was your daughter at the time?
Let's see. This was 2013. I think she was 5.
That's the earliest newsbreaker you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, she's talented.
Fantastic.
And people would ask me, you know, it was kind of a common thing to talk about. And there were a few guys that would say, you know, did your daughter get in trouble for spreading the news? I'm like, no, man. Like, kids are kids. Like, adults shouldn't be spreading the news that they know is not public yet.
Correct. Yeah, whoever was the parent in the room shouldn't probably. But you know what? There's ball 1 to Haggerty. It's an amazing story.
Yes.
So we have a 1-1 tie. We have 2 total hits in the game. The Shadows certainly are a part of it here at Angel Stadium. So there's a strike, 1-1. I just, every time I see a game like this, I just think of what Nolan Ryan had to have been like.
Yes.
On a day like this.
Yes. You know, witnessing him, you know, going locked up against him, playing with him in the All-Star game here in '89, is sitting next to him. And I would always think, how does anybody ever even come close to getting a hit against him? I mean, plus, as we all know in some of the videos, you weren't ever comfortable in the batter's box against him. If you were like digging your cleats in the dirt, he would step off and go, well, you might as well keep digging because I'm going to bury you right there shortly.
1-2. Check swing. He went around. That is strike 3, and Detmer is taking full advantage of the difficulty seeing spin. He struck out 2 batters in 3 innings in a 1-1 tie. So would you settle for television? Is that, can we bargain you down to being on TV instead of the Jumbotron? We can't help you with that, but we can help you with this.
There's a lot more viewers on the TV side. That's a good decision he made there.
I love the Go Angels at the end.
Yes.
By the way, like here, if you could put us on the Jumbotron. Also, I like the team.
Yes.
Ball 1 to Siri, who popped out to the catcher Jansen in the 3rd. Mackenzie Gore has 6 swings and misses on his breaking stuff. Adam, you said at the beginning of the show, you know, control has been an issue. Strikeouts are there. What do you make of Mackenzie Gore so far as we go inside the pitch?
He's gotten better as we've gone. Now he's got a really good feel for that curveball. It's actually been his primary pitch all day long. He's not doing a great job with first pitch strikes, but he's rallying in these at bats. So I'm encouraged. I think he's headed in the right direction tonight.
Do you feel like there's a cost to having to rally in at bats as he gets a strikeout there on that curveball again? That's 3 of 4 batters with strikeouts. Is there a cost to having to come back all night long in counts?
Yeah, there is, but he's done a better job lately. I mean, I think it's up to the Angels to make him have to pay that cost. And ultimately, they didn't get a lot of great pitches to hit. The ones that they did get to hit, they did not take advantage of. And now the Shadows became a factor, and he got rolling.
Well, Angels got 27 pitches out of him in the 3rd, and he rebounded for just 10 in the 4th. So that's a good bounce back.
Ooh, I would have challenged that.
I know. I was going to say that was all over the strike zone. I'll tell you what, he hasn't had tremendous spin on his curveball, but he's had great drop to it.
Oh, look out. And how do you look out as that ball goes through the sunlight into the shadows?
Well, you can see right there, the baseball, it goes from the shadow, sunlight, shadow.
He's moving once the ball hits the mitt, basically. I mean, that is the split-second reaction you got to have. Murph, it really looks like it's fun to be a major league hitter. I'm just going to say.
Oh, man. I feel like pitchers are better than they've ever been before. And then you throw these shadows on top of it. challenging.
Well, Murph, I thought we used to be friends. We're no longer friends right now.
It was a marvelous friendship
Yeah.
for the 4.5 innings it lasted.
We were tight. What happened? Now you're right, though, especially because the velocity and the spin of pitchers now, because every pitch they throw is full max on everyone, so it makes it more difficult to hit.
Gooby, I think if we got you on a good strength and conditioning program today, we could get you into the upper 90s, like with the sink that you had.
Towards second base, and a jumping play by Foscue, who runs it down and snares it. 2 gone.
Pretty good read off the bat there, too. Not hit hard, but you figured where he was hit was going to be placed perfectly in there, especially with the potential of a miscommunication between short and second. That's a great play. You mentioned it earlier, Murph. He's a pretty good all-around player.
Yeah, he really is. He spent some time at first from time to time. He was a second baseman in college, and you see he was positioned up the middle, so good first jump on that one.
I was glad that ball was put in play just so I had to answer that question about 90 miles an hour. I said if I was from like 10 feet from home plate, maybe I got a shot at 90.
We should get a traject machine for Sunday Night Baseball. We should get a machine and do demos with our analysts every week. I think a lot more people would sign up.
What, to hit against me? I'm sure they would.
to watch that. 1-1 for Frazier. 2 out, bases empty. 6 in a row retired by Gore.
He's the one that broke up the no-hitter by Ginn the other day against the Athletics. It was an 0-2 pitch. Hit a shot to left center field just before the home run. And there's been a couple pitches that haven't been challenged yet that could have easily been challenged.
Yeah, that one looked like it would have been a strike as well. It's now 3-1 to Frazier, and we saw the damage of the walks to the 8 and 9 hitters in the third to bring across the Angels' only run. Three and 1. That's called a strike. No challenge from Frazier. 3-2. That would have been ball 4.
And I talked to Adam about that because he's got a pretty good idea of the strike zone. He's having a difficult time to determine those close ones to challenge or not.
Oh goodness. Neto ends up seated. That ball nearly Henry VIII'd him.
Now he's moving back. He says, oh, I guess that's why they do have the on-deck circle.
He's going to the off-deck circle. He's done. He's over it. It's 3-2. We'll see if he comes up to the plate. Frazier in the air for right center field. That's a long way to go, and eventually that ball ends up in the glove of Haggerty, who has to stabilize himself in the alley. What a phenomenal effort to haul in the final out. Time now for tonight's high performance presented by Sage. Reed Detmers was smoking early, Gooby.
Yeah, I mean, his fastball was really, really firm. But you go back to the 5th inning, you can round that off to about 96 miles per hour. And it went down just slightly, though, you know, that last inning in the 5th inning at 93.9. But still, when you go back to his last start where he had 5 punch-outs in the first 2 innings, it dropped down dramatically, more so to 91 miles an hour. I still think where he's at right now, he's saving that 95, 96 when he needs it. He's realizing that he can get some outs. He can get ahead with his fastball, but when he needs that firm 95, 96, it's still in the tank for him.
How much of a correlation do you think there is between pitcher velocity and hitter slug?
I think what it comes down to is also it goes back to reading a hitter, what they're trying to do at the plate. So when you and he used the 4-seam fastball a lot, so it's upstairs, a lot of times out over the plate, so you're going right to the barrel of the bat. And when you have some good bat speed, it's going to be barreled up pretty well, but he's been able to get inside enough. That's one thing I still think he needs to be more effective is pitching inside.
13 in a row retired by Detmers. Changeup slider combo sinks Higashioka and 1 away. So now we're in a 1-1 game in the 6th. And the story of both of these teams' seasons, in some way, is told by the bullpens. The Angels have struggled to get outs in the bullpen. The Rangers, so far this year, have a top 3 bullpen ERA as of today. And for the balance of the season, they've been the best relief corps ERA in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you run into that, and you know that, you know this, Murph, as a team, you don't want to get down to bullpens, certain teams' bullpens, because you feel everyone says get the pitch count up. I go, no, we got to score off the starter because that bullpen's that much better than the starter, really, when you think about it. And you're going to bring in 2 or 3 guys throwing even harder with more spin.
And as a hitter, you feel like you're starting to figure that guy out, right? You're figuring the starter out. You're like, I just want one more at bat against him because I'm starting to see his stuff, and I'll get him if I face him again. But usually that's not the case, and you'll see a guy in the bullpen, and it's just a new battle.
Man, oh man, they are not seeing the secondary stuff at all. Detmers has 10 strikeouts. This one against Hellman, who just celebrated a birthday yesterday, and this is not the gift he was looking for.
No, I mean, that's that. He's got a great slider, and he's right in that daylight right there, and you're trying to read spin. You can see guys chasing well out of strike zone. As a hitter, you're hoping for a fastball and swinging on a plane, and hoping that fastball stays true to that plane.
And you just need back to the velocity. Like, you don't need to throw hard right now. You spot that fastball up and you steal a few strikes, hitters are going to be swinging at that breaking ball down.
It's 2 off his career high in strikeouts, which has come, as you saw, 4 times. There's ball 1 to McCutchen.
So now it comes into play. Both starting pitchers, the 3rd time through has been a struggle for him. So far, very efficient pitch count. So I don't see how that really comes into play for Reed Detmers. A lot of times that 3rd time through, he's already up to mid-80s, 90s on his pitch count.
It's only 73 from Detmers, and McCutchen will ship it out to Trout. Reed Detmers cruising. Up with FanDuel. Here's a live look at Mike Trout's batter up odds for plate appearance number 3, which is upcoming. He drove in the lone run for the Angels on an RBI single in the 3rd. See a number of pitches. The over of 3.5 is -290, in part because Mackenzie Gore has thrown a bunch of pitches to the 2 walks in the 3rd. That was an 8-pitch walk to Rivero, which he followed up with a walk to Frazier. Pitch 87 to Neto, who's seen a bunch of curveballs. David, this is a tenuous time for Gore here.
Yeah, like Gooby was saying, like both of these pitchers, you can get to them the 3rd time through the order. Now, we are, once again, hitters are having to deal with the shadows, so maybe that's a benefit of any guy that's going to step on the mound right now. But you've got 3 right-handed hitters coming up. You've got a lefty out there. They're seeing him for the 3rd time. We'll see if Gore continues to deal like he has the last 2 innings, or if these Angels hitters can make adjustments.
He's retired 7 in a row. There's a bunt from Neto, and that is going to roll foul. 1-2.
And just to put some numbers to that, for Gore, 190 opposing hitters the 1st time around, 206 the 2nd, 324 the 3rd time.
That usually means that 3rd time through, he's probably throwing a lot of pitches, like you mentioned. There's some walks in his game. So the more pitches you throw and you're trying to strike people out, the better opportunity you have as a hitter to get a mistake that 3rd time through the lineup.
1-2. Neto's got a battle and a swing and a miss. He has seen a wheelbarrow full of curveballs in this game. 6 strikeouts for Gore, 3 of Neto.
And I'll tell you what, these 2 pitchers have incredible feel for their off-speed and breaking balls today. I don't know if it's the shadows, but I feel like once they saw a little success with them, they've leaned into them a little harder, and they started really executing those 2-strike pitches down below the zone.
Otto, you're exactly right. When you know that as a pitcher, you have that feel, and you know it's difficult to read as a hitter. You're going to stick with that.
Curveball to Trout, who's seen more fastballs than anything so far in the game, but will he in this at-bat is the question. Change up away, 1-1. So Adam, you've had some success. He got in on him the last time, turned into a hit, but you've had some success with the fastball. What do you like here?
I like him starting him slow and finishing him fast. I mean, he's got such a good feel for that curveball. You see it right there. I mean, he's dropping it right below the zone, right in that area where it's hard to decide to swing or not swing. And it's really working for him. So he's going to ride that. And if he didn't get a swing there, then he maybe force a fastball after that. But now that he got that, I'm tempted to double up.
1-2 to Trout, who's driven in the lone Angels run tonight. He takes a fastball. That was the idea.
Yeah, you would think right now with that plane of that fastball up, he's going to start that curveball, that same plane, to try to drop it. But the thing about Trout is, if that curveball is in the strike zone, that curveball could be hit in the stands.
2-2. He came in with a cutter.
That's a smart pitch. Really smart pitch there.
Why do you like it?
Just because he's thinking that fastball up. This is we were all thinking that curveball right after, and he's looking, tracking lower part, and he got that cutter right in on his hands.
11-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger swings through a curveball. There it was to put him away. Adam, he did like that swing a couple pitches ago, enough to go back there.
Yeah, I love what Gooby just pointed out with that cutter in. That was a beautiful pitch choice. And he got a little bit of a read on Trout there. Trout's foul ball kind of showed him that, okay, you're going to swing out of that lane. I can start my curveball in that lane, get it below the zone, execute it perfectly there.
David, where does this rank in terms of Mackenzie Gore's starts you have seen this year?
So I saw him go 8 innings a few weeks ago. I believe it was against the Diamondbacks. That was the deepest he has ever gone into a game. And I think that's really all he's lacking. You know, we see the stuff. You're not questioning how good it is, right? Like, you want to see him be more efficient. I think we saw a statistic that night. I think before that he had only gone 7 innings 7 times in his career. But he's got the stuff to get quick, easy outs, to mix in some strikeouts and go 6 or 7 innings each start.
It's pitch number 99. It's up the middle towards second base. Foscue takes care of yet another 1-2-3 inning. The last base runner for anybody was Trout in the 3rd. This game summary is presented by Bosch Power Tools. Reed Detmers has retired 15 straight. That is a tie of his career best dating back to his no-hitter from 2022. And Mackenzie Gore, Murph, has been just as good.
What a weird night. I mean, there's only been one frame of these 6 innings where there hasn't been a strikeout. Detmers has recorded a strikeout in each of his 6 innings. And he's gotten multiple strikeouts in 4 of those 6. So the Angels in the 2nd, even though they went 3 up, 3 down, they did not record a strikeout. But other than that, Gore has recorded a bunch of strikeouts himself.
Last base runner was the 3rd inning for either team as Foscue takes a strike. With Mark Gubicza, David Murphy, Adam Ottavino downstairs, Jason Benetti, our entire crew, Gooby and Murph, the analysts on each side for the Angels and the Rangers. Adam Ottavino, a decade and a half in Major League bullpens. As there's a ball low, 1-1 to Foscue. This feels like one of those games where something weird's going to finish our night, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just want to say, I've always been so intrigued by Reed Detmers' way he brings his glove up high like that. That's what Clayton Kershaw did from the stretch position, and that's with his idol. And I remember one time Kershaw came up to me after a game. They get locked up a couple different times, and he says, does Reed Detmers have any idea how good he is? He's one of the best left-handers I've seen in baseball. And that's the thing for Reed. He's just got to realize his stuff plays as well as anybody in the game. But sometimes there's a little bit of doubt here and there. But today, so far, there's not a lot of doubt going for him.
Well, if there's any question about it, just look at the way that the hitters react. They have not reacted well, especially to his slider.
1-2.
Or that one.
Yeah. Dive bomb for strike 3. That's 11 strikeouts, 1 off a tie of his career high.
And you see how he's able to snap that down. And I still go back to what Clayton Kershaw said. And that's about as good as a compliment you're ever going to get. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is one of the all-time greatest. And him to say that is something special about Reed Detmers. You're going to look at his numbers coming in this game. You go, no, what are you talking about? But the stuff is there, and it's playing so well for him tonight.
There he goes with a slider to get a strike from Brandon Nimmo, who more than holds his own against left-handed pitching. Yeah, Reed Detmers is just carving. He's allowed 1 hit, 1 base runner. The homer from Jake Berger on a 1-0 pitch in the 2nd. Nimmo's not close. 0-2.
And for me, right now, there's not a setup pitch. There's no need for a setup pitch right there when you see a swing like that. And Nimmo really hit the ball well. You saw this the whole series, Murph.
Yeah, he stayed on
left.
left.
Still going right on that too.
For sure.
0-2. Detmers overhead.
There it
Check
was.
swing. He didn't go. It was close.
Nimmo thought he was out. He was walking back.
He did. Watch the bat.
Oh,
my
I don't know how much more you could swing.
Oof.
Shadows are affecting everyone.
Yes.
1-2. Strike 3 called on a fastball. Strikeout number 12.
And that's 95 miles an hour. We talked about how a little bit of a drop, but he saved that best fastball. For really, when you think about it in this lineup here, you know, and so far in the series, Nimmo's had the most consistent swings against the Halos in this series.
Not only good velocity, but well located too.
2 down, bases empty. Jake Berger, who's got the home run earlier. Fastball for him at 95. Adam Ottavino. Let's go inside the pitch. What do you like after a first pitch fastball for a strike to Berger?
I like something, man, it's actually a tough question because his slider has been incredible tonight. So I'm actually tempted. Let's just ride the slider, continue to throw it below the zone. He's been putting on an absolute clinic with that pitch.
0-1 fastball to Berger. He lobs it for left. This will stay in the ballpark. Trout makes the catch. Siri pulls away. It is stretch time in Anaheim, and we have 2 hits among us.
Cincinnati makes baseball history with the Reds playing host to the Phillies at the first Major League night baseball game. Over 20,000 fans turned out for the game, which may revolutionize baseball.
That was this day in Major League history on May the 24th, 1935. It led to us having these wonderful light towers, and the shadows, you would imagine, would have been even worse.
I can only imagine how much fun it would have been to pitch in that first few night games there.
You're not going to be surprised. 2-1 was the final score.
Yeah.
Very similar to today's game as Jacob Junis is in for Mackenzie Gore here in the 7th. You know, the one piece from that sound we heard. Why don't announcers talk like this anymore? I think we should do the 7th inning in honor of that guy.
Great.
The 0-1 is a strike.
I think you could do it, Jay. You could do that one.
Brought to you by Woolworths.
Been there, done that.
0-2. Soler fouls it away. Jacob Junis has this slider. He doesn't get a ton of swing and miss, Adam. What's the deal with this slider?
Yeah, it's a pretty good pitch. He's actually very heavily off speed. Slider, changeup are the 2 primary pitches from Junis. He likes to slow you down and make the fastball look faster, and really he's got incredible command of that breaking ball, which you saw right there.
Yeah, quite often he'll pitch it to contact, but that was a hard banking slider, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about how Soler's had a hard time with the outside corner, and he goes fishing out there for that one. So that was perfect execution to the perfect guy in the perfect moment.
It's perfect.
Picture perfect.
Yeah. Ooh. Another layer. 1 down for Joe Adell. And Junis sends that one outside. The Rangers bullpen is an intriguing proposition in 2026. So often, teams will hunt swing and miss in their bullpen. The Rangers have pitched to contact. They don't get very much swing and miss in this bullpen at all. 3rd lowest whiff rate in baseball for relievers, but they've been awesome.
Yeah, you look at a guy out here in Junis, he's gotten some save opportunities. Jacob Latz has really been the guy. Tyler Alexander, you know, you just put, I guess you give credit to modern day analytics maybe, but I think it goes to show you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to go get Josh Hader. The guys with the track record are most likely to get injured. And so you want to allocate your resources in a way that's going to pay off. And I think the Rangers have showed this year for sure, but the last few, that you can put together a solid group of guys, keep your budget relatively low out there, and have a lot of success.
That ball is demolished to left field, but foul.
But can that turn around when you're getting a lot of pitch to contact? Eventually some of those baseballs hit can find a hole, especially if you come in with traffic on base already. So that's why you see other clubs, like you look at, say, the Dodgers or the Rays, their guys coming out of the bullpen, they're all about the swing and miss out of the bullpen.
2-2. He came inside with his sinker, and that was a drill bit for strike 3. 2 down. More after this.
A Ace has all the power you need to get the job done right, with the best power brands all under one roof, like Steel, Eagle, Milwaukee, Craftsman, and Toro, with free assembly and delivery or ready for pickup in just 15 minutes.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Otto, as right-handed sinkers go to right-handers, what do you think of this one?
Well, when it's located like that, it's pretty darn effective. I mean, perfectly on the inside corner, running in on the hands. It's a thing of beauty.
End of the bat shot on the slider. You have seen that exact sequence from the mound before, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I used to favor actually my slider mostly to the glove side and try to get a lot of called strikes with it and pair it off the sweeper. But what he did was a kind of a master class there. He threw a bunch of sweepers away and then came in with the sinker late and tied him up.
So 1 on, 2 out, and we are going to see a pinch hitter. Those lefties will get used now off the bench for Kurt Suzuki. Wade Meckler, local product, hits a home run, makes a sliding catch on Friday night at the stadium that he grew up coming to.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't have a better first start as a Halo. Not only the home run, he had a base hit, he had a walk with his defensive play, but this swing right there. We talk about being aggressive on the first pitch against DeGrom, a 3-run blast. Jumped on that one real quickly.
Doesn't take very long to watch this guy and realize that he's a blue-collar player, just a grinder out there. And I mean, obviously, as former players, we love seeing that.
Exactly. I mean, his smile on his face, just walking into the ballpark, a ballpark he went and watched many, many, many games, and his favorite player in Mike Trout. Family on hand. It's been great.
John Fanti, you showed the pictures in the pregame. I mean, this is 20+ years in the making.
It really was, Jason. He got a phone call on Thursday from his AA manager, Joe Krusel. He was in Alabama. Joe said, book a flight, man. Connected through Dallas, then went to Los Angeles after a 3:45 a.m. wake-up call on Friday. Gets the ballpark. Yeah, he's in the lineup. And after that dream scenario, he needed a favor from his childhood idol. He said, Mike Trout, I need you to sign a baseball for me to get my first home run ball back. He said Trouty came through.
So they did a trade, yeah?
You bet.
The Mike Trout baseball was attached to part of the, the equipment to be named later.
Yes.
To get his home run ball back. It was a 2-for-1 deal for Meckler, whose parents, Laura and Brian, and family, so many folks here to watch this moment. I mean, look.
That's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah. and he was a Gooby fan because he had the Fox Sports West logo.
Oh, yeah, that definitely was in play.
2-0 on Meckler. Swing and a miss.
I still think that Peraza's got great speed over first base. He's got 5 stolen bases, but caught once. And Jansen's thrown out about 18% of base stealers, and Junis has allowed 51 stolen bases in his career on the mound. This is the time to go if you're the Halos.
He does not at this point. It's 2-2 on Meckler. Yeah, the Angels 23rd in stolen bases. Peraza has 20% of the steals this year. He doesn't go. 2-2. Check of a swing. 3-2 on Meckler. If he comes through here, he's never going to pay for a meal in this county again.
No. And he's got a lot of room if he could pull one down the right field line with that speed at first base, and he's on the move now.
On 3-2. Meckler clips it foul off his body. Still 3-2 from Junis.
Well, it's going to be generally over 60% of the time. It's going to be some sort of secondary pitch he's going to see, whether it's a changeup or slider.
Yeah, and as good as the numbers are on the slider this year, Skip Schumacher did say that Junis has the best changeup out of the Rangers bullpen this year.
Throws it about a third of the time. Yeah, Laura and Brian are living it right now. 3-2. That ball's hit in the air, right center field. That's down. It's a base hit for Meckler. Peraza, a late stop sign at third. Runners at first and third. Meckler puts the lead run at third base for the Angels.
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. It continues on for him. That's towards the end of the bat. It was a changeup, but he kept his hands back just enough. Excitement again, mom and dad.
This is where the injuries really become an issue for the Angels because you don't know if Logan O'Hoppe is available to come in and catch if you were to hit for Rivero, and Nolan Shotwell, who you might hit here.
Yes,
very well could be down today.
Or even O'Hoppe in this spot. I think it's the time you're thinking about trying to steal a run. See if you get a throw to second base if he's going.
Meckler started, then shut it down, and it's a strike on Rivero.
I'd take a shot at making the throw down there. I'm sure they probably won't. They've already gone through the signs, but I'd take a shot at it.
Oh, 1. It's downstairs, ball and a strike.
Just because when you think about Rivera at the plate, he's a guy who will make some contact, but he's not going to drive the ball to the alleys where you're going to be able to get both home. But if you could steal a run in a game like today, stealing a run may be the difference in winning and losing.
1-2 on Rivero.
It wasn't it you, Jason, that said it's just one of those games where you feel like something weird is going to happen.
You kind of get that sense. It's 1-1. I mean, we had a total of 2 hits coming into this inning. Now the Angels have back-to-back hits in the 7th. On the ground right at third, it's Duran to first. Inning over. Junis gets out of trouble. Reed Detmers hasn't allowed a base runner since the Berger homer in the 2nd. We'll see if he's got more, if the Angels go to the pen next. Summer belongs to the Villa. Get ready for a sizzling new season of Love Island USA, hosted by Ariana Maddox, streaming June 2nd only on Peacock. Live look at a casting call for the next season of Love Island USA up in the right field bleachers. Reed Detmers has retired 18 in a row. StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, has him 4 short of his career high in swings and misses, which he did against the Rangers the last day of July 4 years ago.
20 swing and misses. That's amazing.
Make it 21. The tote board is getting a workout.
Wait, there's more.
Yes, for only strike 1. Ezekiel Duran is 0 for 2. 12 strikeouts for Detmers. He has tied a career high in that category. Foul ball just above us.
Although I don't necessarily like the high fastball to Duran. I mean, you saw him enough, Murph. I mean, he's on a high fastball, feels like. I think he'll chase that slider down in the dirt area, but he's pretty good on a high fastball.
No, that's a good point.
Pitch number 86 for Detmers.
That's a great pitch.
Where does this stuff compare to the no-hitter day?
You know, he threw the no-hitter, but he had 2 punch-outs in that game. He threw a lot more change-ups, and he got a lot more ground ball outs than he normally. He's not a big ground ball guy, about 39%. His stuff today is better than the no-hitter day. That's hard to say that because he threw a no-hitter, but just 2 strikeouts in that game.
One-two for Duran. Swing and a miss. He blitzed him with a fastball away, and a new career high 13 strikeouts for Detmers.
And a perfect spot too with a fastball. He went off the outside corner after he had him looking for that curveball or slider. He's really pitched exceptionally well here so far tonight.
And that was the 22nd swing and miss. If you're wondering what the season high is, it's Cole Reagan's 27 whiffs.
Just what Rangers fans needed to hear. 13 strikeouts to their hitters is Cole Reagan's name.
You know what, though? We got to roll this Chapman.
That's right.
And won a World Series in 23. So I think most fans think, all right, you know, it hurts a little bit, but you trade it for a World Series, right?
It's the perfect example of a trade that worked out for both teams.
Yes.
And now Reagan's hasn't had the same season that they expected this year. He's been hurt. But yes, without Aroldis Chapman, the Rangers aren't going to win that World Series, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was strong down the stretch. The Rangers needed some bullpen help. You know, Josh Sborz ended up getting the last out. Jose Leclerc stepped up big time in the postseason. So it was just it was a great moment. But Chapman, yes, he filled the big role down the stretch for Texas.
By the way, he's still throwing gas.
He is.
Oh, wow.
Check swing, ball in the dirt. This is the most strikeouts by an Angel, by the way. 13 strikeouts. Most strikeouts by an Angel since Shohei Ohtani 3 years ago.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Shohei's dealing on the mound for the Dodgers this year. He's thinking, you know what, I think I'll try to win a Cy Young this year, just for fun.
His ERA is like .73. Check swing, strike 3. That's 14 for Detmers.
That one on a changeup. That's that little two-seamer we were talking about, Murph, earlier, how it drops out of the strike zone.
I mean, we've seen the slider and how effective it's been, but this inning he just decides to get creative. He's got so much confidence in the way his stuff is working. He gets one on the fastball, now one on the changeup. Talk about momentum.
Yes. Yes.
Two down for Haggerty.
And when you look now, I mean, and it's not because of shadows right now. This is just pure stuff he's got working right now.
He has not gone a single inning in which he has not struck out a hitter. Struck out one in the first and third. Every other inning he struck out 2.
He has somehow yet to strike out the side, but that could be changing soon. Adam, from your perch, what have you seen just in terms of usage tonight from Detmers?
He's putting on a clinic with breaking balls on the plate but below the zone. That's the #1 chase area in Major League Baseball. It's something you're taught from a young age. If you want to get swing and misses, if you're a kid at home and you want to figure out how to strike some guys out, get them to swing at bad pitches, that's where you want to be. You want to be right below the zone, right on top of the plate, right behind the plate, that type of area. He's gotten a ton of chase down there, and once he started seeing that, that's opened up everything else for him, because now they're thinking hard about whether to swing or not at that, and now all of a sudden he's able to open up to his other pitches.
Now he's 3-1. It's like the Tyrannosaurus Rex that you see on the street. It just hasn't happened, right?
Yeah.
The 3-ball count to McCutchen to lead off the game.
It's a big pitch right now, though, because the guy on deck has had some good success against the Angels.
On the ground, second base. Frazier ends the inning. 21 straight, retired, the most in baseball this year. Next Sunday, MLB is on Peacock and NBCSN. First up, Blue Jays visit the Orioles on Sunday leadoff. Then at primetime, the Cubs head to St. Louis. A huge rivalry to take on the Cardinals. Sunday Night Baseball live on NBC and Peacock.
Yeah, they love each other, don't they? Those two teams.
Yeah, just sweethearts. Reed Detmers knows it. He grew up a Cardinal fan.
Yes.
1-1 tie here in the 8th inning. I'll be joined in the booth by 2 phenomenal announcers. Jim Deshaies, one of the best analysts in the country, longtime Cubs analyst. And the ground ball right side, that will be playable for out number 1 from Berger to the covering Junis. This will be of interest to Angels fans. Jim Deshaies and Albert Pujols. Will be in the booth next week.
Wow.
Anthony Rizzo inside the pitch. That's going to be a good old time.
Yes, it will be.
Jim
I know Albert really loves pitchers, too. He really loves them.
I was going to say, Jim Deshaies is the first autograph that I ever got when I was a kid.
Way to go. Really?
I grew up an Astros fan. He pitched for Houston for a little bit. And sure enough, he was hanging out after batting practice one time.
And he was nice to you.
He was great.
Yeah, he's really good.
I don't mean to sound surprised, JD. Look forward to having you in the booth. There is strike 2 on Neto. So it's Frazier, Neto, and Trout here in the 8th inning. Mike Trout, Zach Neto, 2 power merchants. Angels bullpen is starting after Detmers threw 8 beautiful innings.
So we go back to Albert Pujols. I got to see his 500th home run, his 600th home run, his 2,000th RBI, his 3,000th hit. I mean, it was the same person every single one of those swings, too. It's like, oh, okay, matter of fact.
Still loved by so many. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. It's a slider from Junis. And he's got strikeout number 10 for the Rangers staff.
Yeah, 4 times Neto has punched out. We talked about how well, Murphy, you've seen this firsthand, how well he's hit the Rangers staff over the years.
Yeah, you would think this is the night for Texas to take advantage. Unfortunately, They've struck out a handful of times themselves.
Will it be Mike Trout who changes this game tonight? Junis to Trout and a first pitch, ball one. Adam Ottavino, you've seen Mike Trout over the years. You've gotten a chance to play against him. What's your thought here?
Can't give up a home run. That's my thought here. I mean, anything but a home run. So you got to pitch away from the slug here big time.
How do you do that with him specifically?
I think down and away, you know, live on that outside corner, make him have to pull an outside pitch.
Bury the sinker in. You better get all the way in, and he did. 1 and 2. MLB app has you covered all season long. Personalized highlights, push notifications just for you. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. Those notifications are pinging and ringing like crazy here with Trout in a tie game here in the 8th.
If there's a slider, though, if it's in the zone, he can get it. And he's got that ability to hit that ball out the right center field. Just the other day against the Athletics, he hit a rocket out the right center field on a pitch that was down and away.
Two and two. Swing and a miss. Changeup strikes him out. 11 strikeouts for Rangers pitchers. 25 total in the game. We're deadlocked at 1. Swing by MLB Mondays at Capital One Cafe for a free handcrafted beverage every Monday from May 25th through September 7th. Cafes are part bank, part cafe, and open 7 days a week. What's in your wallet? Sam Bachman now in. Jock Peterson has a bat. Jock, who earlier this week came off the bench with 4 hits in a game, and then eventually in the same series played the outfield rather unexpectedly, is here for one reason you'd imagine. It's to try to put a run up on the scoreboard, and he swings through a sinker from Bachman, who has been lethal from the right hand.
I mean, he's got a great slider. That's his pitch. But he also has a really solid plus changeup. First pitch he threw, and then he gets a fastball that could be upwards of 99 miles an hour.
A 268 slug on the slider, 174 on the sinker. That's exactly what you want out of a late inning guy.
Former first-round pick of the Angels gets a ground ball, tomahawk to second base. Little bobble, but Frazier's got it, and there's one away here in the 9th. Summer's #1 show is back for the ultimate competition. Don't miss the premiere of America's Got Talent June 2nd on NBC and Peacock. It may feature the world's longest baseball game. Could be tonight. We'll find out. We're tied at 1. No runs in sight as Hellman stands in and takes a strike on one of those sliders.
I mean, he was drafted, you know, be a starter, but he's always had electric stuff, and he has the perfect mentality to be in this part of a game for the Halos.
How would you describe his personality?
I asked him a question about if he was on Survivor, how would he be successful? He goes, I'd just be stronger than everybody else. That's all he said. I go, all right. And nobody's got a chance against me. I'm like, all right, I guess that would help you out a little bit if you're that strong. And you can just tell that mentality he has. He's quiet, but he has that mentality like, I'm better than anybody in that batter's box.
He's at 0-2 on Hellman.
It's got to be equally important, right, as a bullpen guy, to have that mentality on top of stuff, because nowadays everybody throws 97, 98, but you've got to want to be in that situation.
And he wants to be in these type of spots here. Like, when you feel you're that strong, you have a tendency to be able to make better pitches, in my opinion.
There's a sinker at 100. Adam, you think he overcooked that a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know what? Throw it again, though.
You like it again?
Throw it back door now. You know, they just eliminated it. It's wide open again.
1-2, back to the slider. When you have 2 outstanding pitches, take your pick. 15 strikeouts and more after this.
Want to stay up to date? Just tell Siri, show me today's MLB scores.
90-mile-an-hour slider with a spin rate over 2,700. Well above average spin on it.
You see the movement that goes along with that as Alejandro Osuna grabs a bat. They've thrown him a ton of fastballs in this series, and wouldn't you know it, there's a slider for a strike.
He's had a lot of success, so everyone knows that already.
Just 2 career home runs to his name. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Another tornado of a swing.
Man, that slider just disappears.
Yeah, it looks like it's a strike, then boom, out of the zone, or just at the bottom of the zone. Osuna's been real good making contact, though, with 2 strikes. He's putting the ball on the ground in the infield. You're going to have to make a play more likely against him.
Left side base hit. There's that contact you're talking about. Osuna is on. And the lead run is aboard for the Rangers with 2 out.
And that slider just a little bit more elevated. That's what he's been doing. You've seen this, Murph. I mean, he's just making contact.
The big swing last night was off the bat of Shawnuel. It was an 0-2 pitch, missed location, and that's a similar situation. I know this one doesn't drive in a run, but Rangers haven't had a base runner in a while, so they're doing whatever they can to scratch something out.
You could argue they haven't had a base runner all night. They had a base jogger in Jake Berger in the 2nd inning on the home run. That was it.
Yes, I mean, when you go back to Detmer's 14 punch-outs, 0 walks.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
That broke a string of 23 straight Rangers retired. There's a slider for ball 1.
Got a contact guy at the plate, decent speed at first, and most dangerous hitter on deck.
Yeah, I'm looking on deck. If the Rangers can get Nimmo up there, they're going to get their shot at this ball game that they want.
1-0. Swing and a miss. That slider just diverts. You know, lefties have had more success. Nobody's had great success, but lefties have had more success against Bachman this year. 1-1. Upstairs with a fastball, 2-1. Adam, how many sliders can he throw him here?
Well, now he's in a little bit of a predicament. I agree. I think he should throw more sliders. That's his pitch right now, especially to the righties, but he cannot afford to walk this batter. He's got to be in the zone on this pitch.
On 2-1 to Foscue. It's to shortstop. It's Neto diving on it, crawling into a throw, and that pulls Grissom off the bag. It will be Nimmo coming up. Neto is down for the moment.
That's one thing you always worry about with Neto, with shoulders. Anytime there's any kind of a dive involved in that one.
Yeah, we saw it with Josh Young last night.
Yeah.
Banged up his left shoulder from a prior injury back in the minor leagues. And Neto, he was all over the place last night. The Rangers with 3 infield hits, all of them moving Neto to either the left or the right.
This is exactly, if you're the Rangers, this is exactly the scenario you wanted to play out. First of all, you were happy to get Neto out of the game, regardless of who you're bringing in. I mean, Detmer's out of the game.
You got good speed on second base with Osuna. You just need something through the infield. And if you can imagine, I mean, it's not every day that you strike out 15 times in a game and still have an opportunity to win.
This is a really interesting matchup with Nimmo coming up right here, guys, because, you know, he's become more of a power threat over the years, but in his DNA is to be a flea up there, to be annoying, to foul pitches off, to use the whole field, to stay short. All it takes here is a single, so you're going to get that version of Nimmo right now, and Bachman's going to have to really execute here.
He likes his changeup against lefties. All speed so far this year, Nimmo, just a 143 batting average on changeups, all speed.
First one is a swing and a miss. Adam, you played 3 years with Brandon Nimmo. How does he want to be that kind of gnat against this type of pitcher?
He has both approaches in his bag, so he's going to try to stay short, get as much information from each pitch as he can, and he's going to not be afraid to use the whole field and see the ball deep.
He watches that changeup, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he did know that. You know, the scouting report is he struggled a little bit on all speed. He's gotten back-to-back changeups to start this at bat.
There you see the numbers that Gooby's talking about. Not a lot of damage against off-speed pitches at all. So there's a fastball at 100 after he slowed him down first, 1-2.
It was all about the Benjamins on that one.
2 on, 2 out, 1-2 from Bachman to Nimmo. Angels going for a sweep of the Rangers, and Nimmo takes a ball that's on the beach, 2-2.
I think he's reading. I think he's looking all speed right now, don't you think, Murph?
You know, I mean, knowing what the numbers are against him, I'm sure he does. And knowing the numbers against Bachman's changeup, I think that's likely. I think at the end of the day, I mean, you're just a competitor up there in the at-bat. I mean, it's tough to look changeup when you got a guy that's throwing 100.
A step off. Two on, 2 out. Rangers' best chance tonight comes in the 9th. Nimmo lashes it foul left side.
It was 101 now. Yeah, like I said, he's ultra competitive out there.
Yeah, I love watching each of these guys battle. You know, Nimmo is always going to put up a great fight in situations like this. Skip Schumacher's talked about traffic on the bases all year. The Rangers finally get it in this inning.
That's inside. Okay, Adam, your former teammates 3-2 here with 2 on, 2 out. Where's his mind?
He's in battle mode. He's been in battle mode since he got to 2 strikes. He's doing a great job. He dragged it out to 3-2. If you're Bachman here, I think you have the slider in your back pocket. Hasn't seen one yet. It's your wipeout pitch. Got to execute it down, though.
3-2. He did. He missed. It's ball 4. That was the idea, but the bases are loaded for Jake Berger. And what an intriguing matchup here. A free swinging power hitter against a dazzling slider, guys.
Yeah, and he throws his slider so often the right-handed batters are first pitch, but a lot of times the mindset with him is that first pitch, it's a slider in the strike zone. So that, I think, becomes a more hittable pitch for Berger here.
Bases loaded. Berger takes a fastball. He went away from the tendency there.
I'm surprised. He always throws a first pitch slider.
He had all inning.
Yeah.
Could be, you know, the reflection on Berger hitting a medium speed pitch earlier for the home run.
They go right back to the fastball. It's interesting, though, Adam. Jake Berger, we've seen it, right? You can get him to chase a slider.
Yeah, no doubt, but he also has a very flat bat. I mean, I like sinker to Berger at times. I also like slider. They're both good options, but right now you're trying to read the mind of the hitter. What's he searching for? Is he coming up there looking for the slider? We'll go with the other pitch.
2 fastballs. There's that slider.
That had some depth to that one. That was nasty.
Looked like Berger was definitely looking heater there. I guess you don't want to show it to a hitter too many times. You get ahead with that heater, and you can afford, there's margin for error when you throw as hard as he does. He can go in any direction right now.
When you have to have trust in your catcher right here, you're more likely going right back to that slider just to keep that in front. And Berger right now is thinking about, okay, he's probably throwing me a slider. Now you could lock him up with a fastball, but your number 1 pitch is your slider. If you're going to get beat, you're going to get beat with your best.
Yeah, and Sam has to think to himself, don't make it any better than the last one he just threw. Just repeat that last one.
Oh, that was a wayward slider. It backed up on him, and it nearly caught the zone. 2-2.
So that's what I'm talking about. He overthrew that. He tried to make it even nastier, ended up backing it up, and that was a risky pitch.
Yeah,
He's kind of lucky that didn't end down the middle.
Yeah, that's a tough one now, too, Otto, with 2-2. You got some options, 2-2. You don't 3-2.
Here's the 2-2. It's clipped into the glove, strike 3. That's the one you're talking about, Adam.
Yeah, there it is. That's very similar to the one that got him the second strike. I think he really took a deep breath after misfiring on that previous pitch, and then goes ahead and executes there.
Tie game, bottom 9 when we come back. Sunday Night Baseball on Peacock is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Tied at 1, bottom 9, and this Memorial Day and throughout America's 250th year, baseball honors those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Learn how you can support grieving military families at MLBtogether.com. It has been a brilliant Memorial Day baseball affair. Haggerty moves to left. Osuna is into center. for a Rangers defense that's generally been above average this year. They're going to try and lock down this 1-1 tie and try to get Gavin Collier to extra innings. It's his job to face 3, 4, and 5 for the Angels. He's back up after the injury to Cole Winn.
Yeah, Collier has been good. He only has 12 2/3 major league innings to his name. He will rush that fastball up there about 97, 98. He likes his cutter a lot, also has a sweeper.
He's a former 12th round pick out of the shadow of the Mall of Georgia in Lawrenceville, where the Braves AAA team is. Vaughn Grissom spent some time there, certainly in the Atlanta organization. It is 1-2 on Grissom, then Soler and Joe Adele in this 9th.
When you think about how this game plays out here, if the Halos aren't able to score here in the bottom of the 9th inning, that's where I think it swings to the Rangers side, because you've taken away now your best swing and miss guy, and Sam Bachman out of the game. More contact with that guy at second base. It's a little easier way to get him home.
Swing and a miss, an exploding fastball. That is strikeout number 28 combined in this game.
Just reaches back. It's got a little sinking action on it. I mean, that's right where you want to be in a right-on-right matchup, under the hands of the right-handed hitter.
And even if you make contact, it's certainly not going to be driven. And if you do make contact, your knuckles are going to be hurting for a while.
Risk reward. Here's Soler. First pitch. He slings in that sweeper for strike one.
That's the spot he wants the baseball, though. That right in that zone.
212 career home runs for Jorge Soler. Takes outside 1-1. You face Soler, Adam. Where does the power come from?
He loves to hit a breaking ball mistake in the middle, unless he's cheating for the fastball. And I think right now he's not cheating. So I think the fastball's open like that.
What makes you say that?
Well, just the way that Grissom approached Collier as well. I mean, clearly they were sitting on soft, and then the fastball played. I think this is an Angel approach.
Line drive, left side. It was a sweeper. It's a base hit. Soler is on the prospective winning run.
I wonder if they would indeed think of a pinch runner here in this spot. But Sears, the guy that runs well, he's out of the game, and you got Meckler pinch run for him, so you're more likely you're going to see Soler stay out there.
Did him a favor there with that breaking ball.
Yeah, you called it.
I mean, you just look at the usage. 40% cutter, 24% sweeper on the year. So pretty good chance as a righty you're going to see a breaking ball. Might as well sit on it. I think that's what the thought process was there.
And he did, as here is Joe Adele, who takes one of those cutters for a strike.
And also when you think about it, there's not a lot of depth as far as on the bench. You got O'Hoppe, clearly more likely to stay away from. Same thing with Shawnawell. So you really don't have much options as far as if you wanted to do that with Soler at first base.
Yeah, Donovan Walton would be your only choice if those two guys are down. Oh, what hit him? So it was a sinker that wormed its way inside. Adele is on with 1 out, 2 on.
You see it all the time, because if guys are sitting on breaking balls right on right, you're gonna, the natural tendency in the box is have to dive for the outside corner, and then anything inside, you're helpless. I mean, this was too far in anyway. He wasn't getting out of the way of this regardless. But you see it all the time. Guys looking to hunt breaking balls, dive to the outside corner, ball comes in, and there's just no escape from that.
It's back-to-back games he's been hit too, Joe Adele.
And that's been the knock against Collier so far in his young major league career. The stuff is there, no doubt, but he has walked 8 in 12 2/3 coming into this one, and that is his 4th hit by pitch on the season.
I mean, that's right in the ribs too.
Yeah, 4 hit by pitches in 13 innings. So now Peraza, but then you look on deck as the Rangers are going to have a meeting on the mound. You look on deck, and there is Wade Meckler.
Yes,
it feels like Wade Meckler weekend
yes.
is starting to materialize at the expense of the Texas Rangers. We'll see if it gets there. Peraza hits the ball on the ground enough.
Yeah, he's been pretty clutch for the Halos. I mean, he's really, we know and heard even when the Angels got him in a deal last year with the Yankee, great glove, and he made an incredible play in this homestand, but he's hit the ball well. I got to go back to there's really no options for Kurt Suzuki as far as with Soler out there, because there's some pretty good arms in the outfield here for the Rangers. So if that ground ball gets through, it's going to be a tough bang-bang play at the plate.
Peraza's 5 for 10 in this series.
There we go. They are going to make that move now.
So they will go ahead with Walton.
Well, that's perfect for you doing a game with Walton going out there.
Our late friend Bill.
Yes, oh yes.
Who took over this ballpark
yes,
back
he
in
did.
2019.
I remember looking at you guys in here.
Somehow, no matter how this ends, it won't be the wildest Walton experience at Angel Stadium. But Donovan, the Oklahoma State Cowboy, on at second base. First one is upstairs, ball 1 on the cutter to Peraza. Adam, do you feel like there's a comfort pitch anywhere for Collier right now?
Yeah, probably the sweeper. But, man, Peraza's hitting over 300 on the sweeper on the year. He's in a tough spot here.
1-0. Outside, it's a cutter.
Walton's got a great secondary lead here. You would think there's always that chance, even with pitch com, you could put a pickoff on at second base if they would try that.
It's kind of tough to do with a young pitcher.
Yeah.
Two 2-0 on Peraza. He snapped at a sinker. 2-1. The only runs in this game on a Jake Burger's second inning homer. And in the third, a Mike Trout jam shot beyond second base to score Rivero. Angels looking for the sweep. 2-1 to Peraza. And it's a fly ball foul to the right side.
Gotta think he's going to get that sweeper right now.
Yeah, I agree with that, Gooby. I think cutter to sweeper's a good sequence here. Started on the outside corner, run it off.
2-2. It wasn't close enough to get the swing. 3-2.
And no, I wouldn't send him here. I'm usually pretty aggressive, but I wouldn't send him here. Not with Hollywood on deck. Hollywood scenario just in case.
Meckler is next. 3-2 on Peraza. Broken bat, bouncer, second base, right at the bag. Foscue, and it bounces away slightly. Here comes Walton to score. The Angels walk it off on a Sunday night pinball machine.
What did you say about how this game was going to end, Jason?
Of course. Something bizarre takes us to the finish line.
By the way, that's almost impossible how that ended right there.
I mean, it appeared to be a tailor-made double play ball. Nice little one-hopper, step on the back, throw it to first. Just didn't happen.
That baseball had so much spin on it with everybody catching and throwing it.
That looked like fish in a barrel, guys. Instead, off that spin you're talking about, a little bobble does in the Rangers.
See that spin, even on that baseball, as he tries to be able to keep it in the glove and in the low throw. And Berger's looking in his glove also.
Yeah. And this just ends what has been a difficult road trip for Texas.
That's why the beauty of baseball, you just never know. And no matter how well or bad you're playing as a team, the Angels sweeping the Rangers, which coming into the series with 2 guys on the bump, well, all 3 guys on the bump, you had no chance.
An outrageous, bizarre finish that is made for the American League West. As we go downstairs to John Fanta.
Oswald Peraza, this Angels team completing a sweep of the Rangers for the first time since 2022. What is it about you guys that dug in this weekend to complete this sweep?
Yeah, I mean, wow, it's amazing, you know. I need that win, I need that sweep, and yeah, I'm happy for that.
Last night, Mike Trout said to this crowd, "You live for the bright lights." What is it that you relish about them?
Nah, I mean, you know, well, my Trout for me, you know, is superstar. I'm happy for that. And
woo! A little bath.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel good. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that win for the fan. And yeah, keep working. That's it, man.
Keep working. This team, the vibe in the clubhouse. How would you speak to the way you guys are staying with the fight through the tough times?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like I feel like family. This group is amazing. It's special. And yeah, keep working. I wanna, you know, play off. Yeah, that's the mentality. And yeah, it's, you know, my trial in the team is, yeah, for me, it's amazing.
How's a Gatorade bath feel on a Sunday night? Tell me. How's that bath feel on a Sunday night?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Oswald, congratulations. Jason Benetti.
John, thank you. Oswald Peraza, all it took was some contact. The Angels get the winning run on the bobble at second base. And that's it. As the ball bounces away from Berger, he thought he had it. Instead, Walton races home, and the Angels sweep the Rangers 2-1. We'll wrap it up at the Big A when we come back. Drink it in, Angels fans. Keep the night alive with your Peacock Picks of the Week. First, Killers Aren't Born, they're made. Watch the full season of the Peacock Original Series MIA now. Then, here comes the bride. Keep the action coming with Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair. Now streaming on Peacock. And don't miss the end of the Thunder Spurs. Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals right now. Streaming on Peacock. Let's all play ball. Don't miss Play Ball Weekend coming up June 5th through the 7th, encouraging youth everywhere to get out and play. You can visit playball.org to register for a free event near you today. The bobble at second base. Foscue knew it as he threw it. Berger was unable to scoop it, and the final score goes 2-1 in favor of the Angels, who sweep the Texas Rangers.
There's something about contact.
Yeah, all it took was contact tonight in a game that nearly featured more strikeouts than any game in Major League Baseball this year, and the pitchers controlled. Mark Gubicza, the Angels found a way.
Yeah, I mean, we always say if you make contact, there's human beings playing out there on the field. And sometimes, as great as athletes are on the Major League level, mistakes are made, and that's exactly what happened. We talk a lot about spin rate. There was a lot of spin on everything on that play right there. Ends up spinning away, and the Halo is walking off with a sweep in this series against 3 outstanding pitchers. So some momentum for the Angels going forward for sure.
I guess it just goes to show you why Major League teams love whiffs at the end of a ball game to create a situation like that where it's not going to happen. 28 strikeouts in the ball game, just 54 outs. So I guess 53 outs because the last out was never made. Swings and misses like crazy. It just took a broken bat, bleeder up the middle to end it.
It felt like something totally bizarre and off the beaten path was going to happen. I don't know that any of us saw that thing.
Now, we were talking maybe a blooper in a play like that. I mean, because I've seen the Rangers over the last number of seasons. Their defense is solid. So you're not expecting something like that to happen. But again, contact. Forcing that human being out there on the field to make a play. Sometimes it works in your favor.
That's right. And credit Kurt Suzuki for pinch running Walton. I don't know that Soler scores on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like I said, that was perfect for you there, Walton, scoring a run.
Throw it down one time. Final score goes 2-1 for the Angels. You guys are awesome. Mark Gubicza, David Murphy, our entire crew. Next weekend, join us, Peacock and NBCSN Sunday lead-up. Blue Jays and the Orioles in the AL East. Then at primetime on NBC and Peacock, Cubs take on the Cardinals. Sunday Night Baseball, Jim DeShays and Albert Pujols will join me in the booth. Anthony Rizzo downstairs inside the pitch. Coverage starts 7 p.m. Eastern. Currently airing on Peacock and NBC. Thunder and Spurs, Game 4 of the West Final. For our entire crew, Matt Borzello, Corey Newmy, David Murphy, Mark Gubicza, Adam Ottavino, John Fanta, I'm Jason Benetti. You've been watching Sunday Night Baseball on Peacock, presented by Capital One.